Welcome back to Kris versus Everybody. This is a show where I talk about anything and everything unedited, uncensored. This podcast is brought to you by the Crisscross Studios YouTube channel. Go shop for merch at www.crisscrosscorner.com. There you can buy your Black Excellence t-shirts and sweatshirts, as well as other merch. Just like the Detroit Strikes Back t-shirt or the Detroit Strikes Back sweatshirt. Just go on ahead. Hop on over to www.crisscrosscorner.com. Thank you for your support. All right, y'all saw the title of the episode. I'm going to go against Independence Day. Now, let me be clear. I do not hate the actual holiday. I love fireworks. I love barbecue, just like anybody else. But today, we're not talking about the 4th of July, Independence Day. We're talking about Independence Day, the 1996 sci-fi blockbuster that gave us alien invasions, presidential pep talks, and Will Smith knocking E.T. out cold. Now listen, this movie is one of my favorite movies of all time. I grew up on it. I can quote it almost to the line, to the period. But that doesn't mean it's above criticism. In fact, over the years, Independence Day has picked up some serious hate from critics and fans alike. And today we're diving in to why we hate it and why I'll be still watching it with a hot dog in my hand every 4th of July. Yes, if you haven't seen the movie yet, spoiler alert is now activated. So Independence Day is known for its cheesy and over-the-top patriotism because of the title, Independence Day. It's America's birthday, the birth of independence from the British in 1776. Critics say it leans too hard into patriotism with lines like, "Today we celebrate our Independence Day" at the end when they are about to go fight the aliens. Feeling like an American military ad wrapped in a sci-fi movie, basically. It paints the US as Earth's savior, while most other countries are just in the background. Like, in the end, if you notice, the entire world was fighting the aliens, not just the US. But they just showed the US fighting them. And then after they defeated one ship, if you guys noticed at the end, they were like, tell the other countries how to take them down. I was like, okay, that's cool. But apparently, with the title of the movie, it has to be about America and USA. Some characters felt like stock tropes, like the cocky pilot, Will Smith, the nerdy genius, Jeff Goldblum, and the drunk hero, Randy Quaid. Like, kind of the kind of characters that didn't really have any build up to them, but it's okay. The scientific nonsense of the entire thing. It's supposed to be a sci-fi, so it's science fiction, yet uploading a virus into an alien spaceship with a 90s MacBook is still kind of wild to me. The science is very laughable if you really look into it, even by sci-fi standards, which grinds my gears of more logic-driven viewers. Okay? I am so logic-driven. Like, most of the stuff did not make sense. It did not make sense. Will Smith literally punches an alien in the face and survives a crash landing. You guys are not, like, watch the movie. Jeff Goldblum and his dad literally just drive up to the White House like it's a pit stop on the side of the freeway, like that close. Like, you're not going to be able to get into the White House that easy. Oh yeah, I forgot. The President of the United States joins the air battle. The President of the United States. Like what? No, this is a fictional president. We're going to talk about the actual president currently later in the show. But the president of the United States was like, yeah, I'm going to go join the fight because I got nothing to lose. I'm like, bro, sit down. The chief of staff was like, yo, what are you doing? He's like, I'm going in the air. I belong in the air. I'm a fighter pilot. Like, where's the vice president in this movie? Then you never seen the vice president. You just saw the president. As soon as he said, I'm going in the air, it's like, where's the vice president? Where's he at? You're next. He's not coming back. Speaking of that, not coming back, I did not know that this movie was 2.5 hours. You would not know by just watching the movie because the movie is very captivating. But when you actually look at like the running time of this movie, it's 2.5 hours. The pacing does drag in the middle, but you have to build up to the alien attack, and then you have to build up to them getting revenge. So that's kind of my with the movie. Could have been less time in the movie, but 2.5 hours is a bit much. It's not Star Wars, guys. It's Independence Day. But just like Christmas Carol on Christmas, your favorite scary movie on Halloween, Independence Day on the 4th of July is a must. And another must that we have to talk about today is the current news in Washington. Trump's big, beautiful bill was passed in the Senate narrowly. It was 50-50, guys. It was 50-50. No, you're not dreaming, listeners. The big, beautiful bill. If you guys don't know what the big, beautiful bill is, I will explain it in my summary later. But it was 50-50 in the Senate. And you know what happens when it's 50-50 in the Senate? The vice president gets the tie-breaking vote, which he voted for it because it's Trump's big, beautiful bill. So 51-50, defeated by only 3 Republicans, which the 3 Republicans I will probably talk about later in the show. Like what is going on? And I will say some names. Senator Tom Tillis of North Carolina delivered a fiery speech denying the Medicaid cuts that were in the bill. He warned of a $32 billion hit. $32 billion hit to North Carolina's health system, affecting over 600,000 people. So the Medicaid cuts, just for North Carolina, will be affecting 660,000 people. Senator Rand Paul from Kentucky also broke ranks, citing concerns about ballooning the national debt, which we don't really care about the national debt. Who really gives a fuck about the national debt at this point in time? You got to spend money to make your people happy. The American people deserve a lot of things, but cutting Medicaid, and I'll get to the other stuff that they cut later, but being fiscally responsible in this time, in this economic time, is not supposed to be your main goal. In the House, conservatives like Representative Chip Roy of Texas, Ralph Norman of South Carolina, and others in the Freedom Caucus opposed the Senate rule changes and bill modifications, aligning it with the Democrats to block it. So a lot of people on the Republican Party was like, yo, we didn't think you were going to touch this. Yes, you did know, because he said it in Project 2025. Y'all just don't listen. Y'all were like, yo, Trump is the only person that can beat Kamala Harris at this point. And y'all forgot, like, yo, this man has an evil plan called Project 2025 that's going to cut Medicare, not just for the liberals or the people you hate, but for you too. It's not going to be there for you. And we're going to get to that later too. Now let's go to the liberal side. Chuck Schumer, God bless his heart, mocked the bill as the We're All Gonna Die Act, which is basically what it is, because you're cutting Medicaid. Majority of people in this country rely on that. Public health researchers from Yale, University of Pennsylvania, which is where Donald Trump went to school, warned that Medicaid and a safety net cuts would lead to so many preventable deaths annually. So now we're killing people. Environmental analysts estimate the rollback of clean energy incentives, because that was also in the bill. So now you're getting rid of a lot of jobs that pay a lot of money that replace coal mining and the other dangerous jobs. So now even poor people can't even get jobs. And now they have no Medicare. So now we're just going to kill people off if they can't survive. So major impacts on the country. If you don't know what the big, beautiful bill is, please look it up. Please look it up. I'm just giving you a summary. It is up to you. Study, show yourself approved. Okay. Major impacts on the country with the big, beautiful bill, in quotes. I'm putting air quotes up. Healthcare. Deep cuts to Medicaid, up to $1.8 trillion over a decade. It could lead to over 50,000 preventable deaths a year, according to public health researchers. Millions of low-income Americans would lose access to care. And I'm going to specify where these people live, because a lot of people with means can afford private health care. But when it comes to public health care, something that Obama said, yes, your country should be, you earned healthcare when you're born in America. If you are a citizen, that is your right to healthcare in this country. A lot of these people that voted for Donald Trump are low-income white people in the southern states. Millions of low-income Americans will lose access to care, especially in those rural and southern states. Climate and energy. As I said, there's a lot of clean energy cuts. There's a lot of repeals, nearly all clean energy incentives from the Inflation Reduction Act from President Biden, which slashed funding for solar, wind, and EV programs, which Elon Musk doesn't like. Increases long-term energy prices for consumers, which what Americans are going to feel. They will feel it. There will be more bank robberies. There will be more selling illegal things. There will be more drugs being brought in. There's going to be a lot more criminal activity in this country, a lot of more desperate people in this country because of this big, beautiful bill. Taxes and spending. It adds nearly $4 trillion. $4 trillion. Expands the Trump era tax cuts, especially benefiting top earners and corporations. It includes new taxes on federal retirement benefits. Now that when you freaking retire from the federal government, now the government's taking money from your retirement, which is what he said he would never do. But he's doing it because he's a fucking liar. Donald Trump is a fucking liar. Cuts to Social Security services, though not direct payments, okay? So Social Security is still quote unquote safe for now. But here's the funny part. Here's the real funny part. And I don't mean to be very sarcastic during this part, but y'all fucking voted for this. Reducing SNAP benefits, reducing housing assistance, and reducing disability benefits. Increasing work requirements to even get on food stamps and welfare. So you're going to have a lot of poor people on the streets. You're going to have a lot of streets in America looking like Los Angeles Skid Row. You heard it here on the podcast. You heard it here on Kris versus fucking everybody. You're going to see a lot of people in tents under overpasses. Because you don't even give people housing anyway. You raise the prices for housing, and now you're taking away and making it harder for people to get even in the room. You increase the requirements to get said things when they're on the street. It allows for mass layoffs for federal employees. Labor unions say it erodes worker rights and pension security. And it gives the president greater power to hire or fire federal workers. And it weakens oversight mechanisms and legislative safeguards. So, in summary, if you guys were tired of me talking, the big, beautiful bill would slash public funding, public health funding, erase clean energy progress, favor the wealthy and corporations with tax cuts, cut critical aid to the poor and working class, increase the national debt, and expand presidential control over the government. So for all the people who voted for this guy, living under $200,000 a year, this means you. Many don't realize how directly programs like Medicaid, Social Security, and SNAP support their families. They may think the cuts are only for others, not realizing that they're the affected group. Some even falsely believe Social Security and welfare and Medicare are earned, which they are, while others are just handouts, which many are not. People actually have to qualify to get some of these benefits. Now, the restrictions and requirements are even raised. So now the people who don't have anything can't get anything. Now let's get back to those poor white Americans. Poor white Americans may not believe that this bill will hurt them. Trump's their savior. Trump is going to clean the swamp, drain the swamp. Trump cares about us. Trump's going to make America great again. They trust Trump more than the system. They're in their information bubbles. They're in their little small towns in rural Michigan, rural Illinois, rural Indiana, Pennsylvania, New York, Arkansas, Texas, rural California, Idaho, Oregon, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, Tennessee, Kentucky, Missouri, Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, the Dakotas, North and South. Okay? They vote by identity and culture and not by policy. And that is their downfall. That is their downfall. They misunderstand or reject government assistance as something they use. They see liberals as a greater threat than budget cuts. This isn't about ignorance. It's about a complex blend of messaging, identity, mistrust, and a lived experience. This big, beautiful bill could have been avoided if Americans, specifically poor white Americans and people who vote conservatively in this country, the conservatives need to adjust their marketing. Because now the Republican Party has been the party of Trump for almost 10 years. And traditional conservatives, i.e. Mike Pence, Rand Paul, Mitch McConnell, though I don't align with their thinking, but they don't want to be a dictator like Donald Trump, who says everything that you guys want to hear. But then when he gets in office, he's like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I got you to vote for me. Now I'm going to push y'all aside. Fuck y'all. And I'm going to do my thing. That's literally what he's doing right now. Voting in elections, whether for president or Congress or mayor or school board, isn't just a civic checkbox. It's a powerful act that shapes the direction of the country and your own community. Your voice shapes who governs. The U.S. system gives more power to swing states and close races, meaning small shifts in turnout can determine the winners, especially in local or midterm elections where races can be decided by just 1 or 2 votes. We have an election coming up in this country, August 5th for a primary, and then election day, which is the first Tuesday in November this year. So please go out and vote. If you have a local election this year, please check on Facebook or check your local city hall to see when your election is. Voting in elections is not just a civic checkbox. Protect democracy and prevent abuse. Democracy thrives on population. If you haven't noticed, when the country comes out and votes, when the country really comes out and votes, the country is better for it. Obama, 2008. Obama, 2012. Joe Biden, 2020. I skipped some years. 2016, people didn't vote. And that's how Donald Trump got into office. 2024, people didn't come out and vote. Donald Trump's put back in office. Low participation fuels cynicism and extremist polarization. That's why you've seen in the 2024 election, you've seen Kamala Harris way over here on the left, and you saw Trump way over here on the right. There's nobody in the middle. And the people who were in the middle died off in their campaign, early in their campaign, because nobody wanted that. Nobody wanted to be fair on both sides. They just saw the parties as this one's way over there, this one's way over here. Higher voter engagement makes it harder for politicians to ignore constituents. Donald Trump has no constituents, like you and me. His constituents reside in tall towers in Manhattan, huge villas in Florida, cliff mansions in California. They don't live in small town Idaho, small town Missouri, small town Michigan, small town Indiana. They don't reside there. They might think that Trump cares about them, but he doesn't really care about them. Because this big, beautiful bill just proved that. You're not going to have any Medicaid. You're not going to have any SNAP benefits. You're not going to have any hospitals to go to. Better representation and policies happen when you vote. Higher turnout brings more diverse voices to the table, ensuring marginalized communities are not overlooked. Countries with stronger democratic participation often foster greater economic growth. And we've seen that in the Obama years, in half of the Joe Biden years, because half of the Joe Biden years we were coming out of inflation. The first Donald Trump term was successful when it came to economics because it thrived off Obama's getting us out of the recession of 2008. So yes, the first term of Trump was great economically. This one now with all these tariffs and uncertainty, and now he's taking away benefits, and now he's taking away ways you get money and stuff, and wages are staying at the same. I don't know in the next 4 years that we'll even have a country anymore with this big, beautiful bill. We tried to tell y'all in 2020 and 2024 and 2016. Y'all didn't listen. Bottom line is, voting is not optional theater. It's a meaningful contribution to the kind of country you want to live in. By voting, you affirm that your voice matters. You defend democracy from those who dismantle it. And you shape real policies that affect your life, your family, and your neighbors. You voting for Trump, and I'm going to say this, and I mean this with every bit of hate in my voice, and the people who fucking didn't vote at all in 2024, you deserve this. You deserve everything that's coming towards you. That hospital that you rely on down the street in rural Idaho, rural Oklahoma, is going to be gone in the next 2 years. Those urgent cares in Alabama, they're going to be gone. That trip to Walmart that you go to using your SNAP benefits, those SNAP benefits are going to go away. All you're going to be able to afford is milk. Voting is not optional theater. Even if you're unsure, vote anyway, because democracy is a shared responsibility, not a spectator sport. Democracy is not a spectator sport. Because if you just watch long enough, you'll witness it fall to its knees. Don't just watch. Vote. Vote in 2026. Vote to remove MAGA from America. And that's been another episode of Kris versus Everybody. See you guys next week. Have a happy 4th of July. Watch Independence Day. Okay? Just watch it. If you haven't watched it yet, I beg you to watch it. If you've watched it a million times, just pop it in the background. All right? And please look up the Big Beautiful Bill. And please vote in 2026 and your local elections in August and November. See you guys next time.